Hi, we're going to talk today about the fourth quarter 2023 figures that were just released by the National Institute of Statistics. These numbers were a bit of a shock to me, and I think you're going to want to stay tuned here at Valley of the Dolly. So one thing that really jumped out at me when I looked at these numbers that came out from the National Institute of Statistics is that there is a 20% decline in the number of units that were sold in 2023 versus 1 year earlier. So we're talking about 145,500 units that were moved or sold in the Portuguese home market in 2022. Take a snapshot a year later in 2023, and that number was barely, not even 117,000. So this is a really significant drop in the number of units that were sold in 2023 versus 2022. Why is this so important? Because with the decline in the number of units sold, what we're going to get into is the fact that inventory levels, and this is according to a survey that was done by Estatística at the end of 2023, and they're showing, well, this is really into the beginning of 2024, they're showing that there is a 10% increase in the fourth quarter of 2023 alone in the number of houses and condos available for sale on the market in Portugal. That is tremendous. In 1 quarter, a 10% increase in those units available. This also kind of goes hand in hand with the laws that were put in place with the introduction of the Nacional agreement that came through in the fourth quarter of 2023. Why do I bring this up? Because that law that was put into place does things like limit the number of units that can be on the market for Airbnbs. It encourages landlords to either put the property up for sale if it's unoccupied or make it available for long-term rent, because there's a limit on the number of units that are out there available for short-term rent. And we know that there are already a lot of units out there on the market that are going for short-term rental, which actually don't have permission to do that. And since they're cracking down on that, a lot of people are looking to either make their short-term rentals available long-term or put those units up for sale if they're currently unoccupied. So now in the fourth quarter of 2023, you're seeing a 10% increase in the number of units available on the market in 1 quarter. Now pair that with a 20% drop in the number of units that were sold year upon year in 2022 versus 2023. And you're 2 of the 3 legs that are needed to see a reduction in the price and a transition in the Portuguese home market. The third one is the actual price. And if you look at the numbers that were released by the National Institute of Statistics, they're saying that in 2022, it was a double-digit increase in prices, almost a double-digit or a little bit over in the increase in prices in 2022. Fast forward to 2023, and the rate of price increase has dropped to barely over 8%. And if you look at the fourth quarter 2023, that number was pretty low. So what we're beginning to see is that, and this chart kind of gives you that exact thing, you're seeing a reduction in the number of units that are selling. We're also seeing a reduction in the rate of climb or increase in property prices. It's dropping dramatically in 2023. So that means we're seeing prices that may go negative in 2024 and a 1 to 2% decrease in the prices in 2024. It could potentially be much more severe than that. It really depends on how many units become available in the market and whether or not people, when they're going to purchase a home, really understand that there's a lot more inventory out there to choose from and that it's no longer strictly a seller's market. And there are areas of the country, and you'll see in this chart here that I'm putting up now, where the amount of inventory that's increased is huge, over 20% in some districts inside the country. And then when you come down to Lisbon or Porto, those percentages are less than 4% in each one of those districts. And if you talk about the city itself of Lisbon, it becomes negative with inventory dropping, not rising. But the important thing to remember here is that the district of Lisbon overall, those inventories are increasing. And that is even true in Porto also, which has been another big hotspot in the country. And with a lot of other districts, we've already seen where demand is not as strong, that those inventory levels have gone up dramatically. What does this tell us? This tells us that we're now seeing a sea change inside of the Portuguese residential home market. And what was once a seller's market is quickly turning into something that's termed, at least in the United States, as a buyer's market. Now we're really going to see how the effects of the habituação hit the market, and that's in 2024. So I'm really eager to look at these numbers again when they become available for the first quarter 2024 and really dive in and let's see again, has all these changes created a market where prices are actually dropping? We're also going to look at the rental market here in a video coming up very soon too, because we know that the inventory that's been available for rentals and long-term rentals has really jumped as well. So we'll take a look at that also. The other thing that I think that's really important to note here is that if you want to look at Lisbon, the number of units that sold in Lisbon, we have not seen such a dismal sales number as we saw in the fourth quarter 2023 since the middle of COVID. It's that bad right now when you're talking about the number of units that sold in Lisbon. So again, even though prices have not dropped at this point, we continue to see a precipitous drop in how those increases are taking place. And you can expect when we see these increases in pricing go away and we continue to see increases in the number of units available on the market, that we're going to see this really become much more of a buyer's market. This is Ted Dolly at Valley of the Dolly. I look forward to talking with you again soon. Thank you. Bye now.